Hello, my name is Eason Warren, and I'm a current student at the NC State Institutes for Advanced Analytics. I'm here today with Jackson Cabell, a 2020 graduate of the Masters of Science in Analytics program. Jackson now works at Apple as a data scientist. And if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about your current role with Apple and your day-to-day life.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for having me, Eason. Yeah, so currently a data scientist based out of the Raleigh office for Apple, and I'm a part of the wallet organization within Apple. So the organization is formally called Wallet Payments and Commerce, but I'm a data scientist supporting the marketing team. And specifically, I work with the marketing team for Apple Card, so their credit card, and then Apple Cash, which is their peer-to-peer payment system. But yeah, I mean, a typical day, I guess, for my role is I mean, it can vary, as I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. It can vary day to day, but definitely more meetings than I would hope for. Um, but I would say that we're able to still utilize the skills that we were taught in the IAA, and luckily still get a lot of time to do coding. But then on top of that, so maybe like in the morning, a lot of my team is West Coast. So in the morning, I usually get a lot of quiet time before noon to do like the actual work. So a lot of coding or either synthesis of results from the coding work to be able to share out with the marketing stakeholders, whether that be via emails or report write-ups or keynotes, no PowerPoint. And then usually a fair amount of meetings then once the West Coast team logs on. But then usually breaking up in between that, I can get, some other working time in between those meetings. But yeah, I guess, and that can vary day to day. Some days are more or less meeting heavy. And of course, when there are big projects going on, the team is very receptive to being able to block the calendar and do some heads down time.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I know you mentioned that you use some of the skills that you learned at the IA. If you don't mind specifically, what are some of the top skills that you acquired or strengthened coming in that the IA taught you?
Yeah. Um, So I had a little bit of a coding background before going to the IAA, but I didn't really get to practice a lot of it until the IAA, especially with the practicum. And then of course, like the homework assignments. So I think that like really hammered home a lot of the foundational for statistical programming. But then on top of that, I think some of the more invaluable skills that the IA teaches is the teamwork and the communication skills. So it's getting easier and easier to be able to utilize packages that are out there and other technical programs that are out there. They're becoming more and more user friendly, but what's really important is being able to understand the foundations of that and being able to communicate that and use those packages responsibly. And so I think the IA does a good job of focusing on being able to translate the technical into tangible business insights and actionable items from that. And so I think that's where I feel like I excel the most using what I was taught, from the IAA. And then going beyond that too is the teamwork. You work with so many different types of teams through your homework teams and the practicum team, and everyone has different ways of working. And being able to get that really rapid exposure to different skill sets and working with people that have different preferences, I think it just forms you into a more flexible teammate that can adapt to any environment. And that's definitely been helpful in the corporate world and in the business world, and being able to just adapt to different circumstances and work with all different types of teammates.
Certainly, I know we just finished up fall one, and it was a big adjustment, right? Starting writing the business reports, coming straight out of undergrad, where you used to
Yeah,
just kind of plugging in numbers, but definitely be valuable experience getting used to tailoring your results in a business report and communicatable way. What was the
absolutely.
most fun part of your time at the Institute?
The most fun part?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good question. I think the most fun part was the people and the faculty. I just feel like all the personalities were really great, and there are a lot of diverse personalities, but I feel like everyone was in there together, and if there were ups or downs, we were, going through it together. So that idea of having that cohort and that team, even if it's outside of like your direct working teams, right? And then I think the faculty are super inviting. I think notable moments are playing sports like basketball with Dr. Labar, and seeing the faculty outside of the class. I think that just made it feel less like school and more like, a more fun environment. So
Yeah, absolutely. Is what you're doing now what you thought you would be doing when you came into the institute, or even when you left the institute?
not specifically. I didn't think I was ever really going to be in the tech field, but I knew I wanted to be some variant of a data scientist. So from that perspective, yes. But I think just the opportunities that came up because of the IAA, and then you learn when you go into the interview season, you have an idea of what you want to do, but you really, once you go into those interviews, you start to learn more and more, what resonates with you and what doesn't. And so I think I learned a lot throughout the interview process, and luckily the institute facilitates a lot of different companies that come in, so you get exposure to a lot of different types of industries. And I think as much as the interviewer is interviewing you, it's a two-way street, and it's a great way to learn more about the companies and what a potential future could look like for your career. But yeah, I would say didn't expect. I was in consulting before my current role in Apple. I didn't expect to be in consulting either, but um, in terms of like the actual tactical work that I'm doing, I feel like it is what I expected to be doing after the IA.
Good to hear. All right, somewhat of a tough question here.
Okay.
In words, describe what you think makes a great data scientist.
And how many words? Sorry.
3 words.
Okay. Um, 3 words. I would say flexible, curious, and driven.
Doing?
Yeah.
Like it. I like it. Definitely like those 3. All right, we're gonna close it out here with 2 rapid fire rounds. One about
All
the
right.
institute and one more technical. Yeah.
All right.
What was your favorite class at the institute?
Oh my gosh. Um, maybe the financial, or I guess risk analytics with the bar. That was pretty good.
What was the hardest semester?
Uh, the hardest semester, like the module. I think one of
Mm,
the fall. I feel like one of the fall ones. Like I think fall two is like the. I remember there was one fall one that was notorious for being tough. So, but I'm not remembering exactly which classes were in which module.
Were you in blue or orange cohort or both cohorts?
I was in orange through and
Mm.
through.
And then your favorite saying from a faculty or staff member?
um, Thanks for the feedback from Dr. Egan Morgan.
All right, we're gonna get switch more technical here. R or Python?
Python. I used to be R though.
Tableau or Power BI?
Tableau. Never set foot in Power BI.
And do you enjoy building more explanatory or predictive models?
Ooh. I do more explanatory. So explanatory.
And then your favorite time series movie?
Favorite time series model? Uh, Probably a Rima.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to answer the questions and kind of let me learn as well as the listeners learn more about the Institute and your experience with it. Thank you, and
Of
hope
course.
everyone has a good day.
Yeah. Thanks for having